You're watching 11 Alive Morning News. 11 minutes of nonstop news starts now.
Two witnesses set to testify before the Fulton County grand jury this week. A live report on what it means for the investigation into the 2020 election and possible indictments.
It is going to be hot around our area today. In fact, excessive heat warning for today, which could lead to heat illness. We're going to talk about it in the full forecast coming up.
And we're still dealing with downtown delays. This crash clearing I-20 westbound right before you get to the connector, putting the squeeze on that East Expressway.
We could hear a decision this week on criminal charges in Fulton County against former President Donald Trump and other key Republican figures in Georgia.
A criminal grand jury is scheduled to hear from two witnesses early this week. They're going to start up their work at the Fulton County Courthouse in just a few hours. Jerry Carnes is there, getting down to the wire here, Jerry.
It is indeed, Cheryl. Good morning. Today is the day that a criminal grand jury that has been meeting for several weeks here at the Fulton County Courthouse turns its attention to the case of former President Donald Trump. The grand jury that will meet this morning has been meeting on Mondays and Tuesdays. Two people have acknowledged that they are scheduled to testify on Tuesday about former president's efforts to overturn the 2020 vote. Those witnesses are George Cheedy, who discovered 16 Republicans signing official documents at the state capitol claiming Donald Trump won the 2020 vote in Georgia, and former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, who was in office at the time Trump protested the 2020 vote.
I have no expectations as to the questions, and I'll certainly answer whatever questions put in front of me, and certainly don't want to go any deeper than that.
Now, in addition to Duncan and Cheedy, there could possibly be other witnesses appearing before the criminal grand jury that will meet this morning. Depending on how long she needs to present her case, we could hear from the grand jury that Fannie Willis, the district attorney here in Fulton County, she is presenting the case, and depending on how long she takes, we could hear from the grand jury as early as tomorrow.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Time now 6:49. Here's what's happening now. This morning, we are working to learn details surrounding the death of an inmate at the Fulton County Jail.
Jail officials say 34-year-old Christopher Smith was found unresponsive in a medical unit cell. Police arrested Smith in 2019 on multiple felony and misdemeanor charges. He was being held without bond. He died Thursday, and we're waiting on the medical examiner's autopsy now.
Investigators are asking the public for tips about a 36-year-old man from Northeast Georgia. Douglas Cordell Barnes was last seen leaving his home in White County almost a month ago. White County is about 30 miles north of Gainesville. Police say Barnes's gold Ford F-150 truck was found in Hart County near I-85. This weekend, several law enforcement agencies, along with Barnes's family, they searched extensively. If you have any helpful information, please call the White or Hart County Sheriff's Office.
Morrow City Council will let voters decide whether the city should start printing all voting ballots in more than one language. City Council Van Tran and volunteers have gone door to door with a petition for a new ordinance requiring voting ballots to be printed in Vietnamese, Spanish, and English. Council member Dorothy Dean proposed a citywide referendum on November 7th to let voters decide. Dean is the same council member who openly criticized the proposal. Councilwoman Tran is working to find out if the Federal Voting Rights Act requires Morrow to print ballots in more than one language. And that was a look at your Monday morning headlines.
All right, Chesley, starting off the week dangerously hot.
You are absolutely right about that. Temperatures are already in the 70s. If you take a look at what's happening right now, our temperatures are in the 70s, right around 76 degrees in Atlanta, 70 in Carrollton, 70 right now, and 73 degrees rather over toward Athens. We're going to heat up nicely, well into the 90s as we head into the afternoon. Looking at 90 degrees up in Blairsville. Look at that. 96 in Atlanta, 97 degrees in Carrollton, 97 down toward LaGrange. When you factor in the humidity with this, and the humidity will be high this afternoon, you're looking at temperatures in the triple digits in a lot of spots. Could be up to 111 over toward LaGrange. Because of that, we have an excessive heat warning to pass along to you. From Atlanta over toward Athens, Southport, the pink shaded counties there are under that excessive heat warning, lasting until about 8 o'clock tonight. The orange colored counties there are under a heat advisory. That's where we can see a heat index up to about 105. Either way you slice it, folks, it could be very dangerous out there. It could lead to what we call heat exhaustion or heat stroke. You'll know the difference between some of those. Here are some of the symptoms with this. You get faint or dizziness with heat exhaustion. You get a throbbing headache, for example, with heat stroke. Muscle cramps certainly possible with heat exhaustion. you lose consciousness, possibly with heat stroke. Now, in a case where you get heat exhaustion, you can take the person inside under the air conditioning, put a cold compress on them. You want to give them something cool to drink. If heat stroke is suspected, you want to call 911. This is something that you don't want to play with, and those are the kind of conditions that we're going to see out there for today. It will be hot. Okay, be advised of that. Some of us will see some relief in the way of a few isolated showers or thunderstorms developing in our area. That won't be until after about 2 or 3 o'clock. We'll be watching that. You'll see once we get toward the 2 o'clock hour how some of those cumulus clouds will start to bubble up on us, and then once we get past 3, 4 o'clock, that's where we'll see some of those isolated showers. But notice how it's not widespread, so a lot of us won't see it at all. Again, it's only a 30% chance. Now, embedded in a few of those will be some thunderstorms that will drop some brief heavy rain on you. Frequent lightning could be associated with it, and it's up here to the north, our northernmost counties, and over here to the northeast, that we could see some wind gusts getting as high as 58, maybe 60 miles per hour. We do have a level 1 threat or a marginal risk for severe weather in our northernmost counties for this afternoon. Going to watch a front come through the area tomorrow. Now, because of the extra cloud cover and the more widespread rain that I think we'll see in the area, temperatures will be kept a little bit lower, so only around 92 degrees for the high on Tuesday, and then by the time we get to Wednesday with that front coming through, drier air begins to work in, and it'll certainly be cooler. You're looking at 88 for the high temperature and 11 on the wazometer, and we'll stay dry as we head through the rest of the week with our temperatures gradually going back up. Crash, over to you.
All right, Jesse, appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of activity for that downtown drive. Live look from the Sky Tracker shows 2 left lanes are now blocked on the connector northbound right before you get to 10th Street. So we've got big problems for folks trying to make their way up from that south side. Let's get right to the maps because I'll bring you a little bit of good news. The little bit of good news is, well, my clicker's not working. That's bad news for me, but I'll explain it to you. The wreck I-20 westbound that was inbound right around Windsor Street and Spring Street before the connector, that's been pushed off to the right. Traffic was backed up, though, towards Moreland Avenue, so a little bit of a heads up. And then the wreck we just showed you on the connector northbound near 10th and 14th Street, that one is pushing you all the way back towards University. So big delays on the downtown connector and the East Expressway as we continue to watch the rush hour develop.
I'm Christy Diaz in Atlanta. Police are looking for a gunman who shot and killed a man out walking his dogs. This was a bold and brazen crime in broad daylight on a Sunday afternoon. Witnesses say 22-year-old Jamie McKinnon was out walking his dogs around 1:30 at the Willow West apartment complex in Lindbergh when police say someone came up and shot him. Now, police won't speak directly to a motive, but they do confirm there is a French bulldog involved. Photos of that dog have been circulating on social media. Now, other dog lovers in that community are on edge, troubled that someone died just trying to go out and walk their dogs. No one is in custody at this point. Police say they tracked down a car that fled during a traffic stop later that afternoon, and they say that is likely connected to this case. But at this point, and as of this morning, there is no information on a suspect. Back to you.
Thanks, Christy. In the last 30 minutes, the death toll in Maui has gone up again, now to 96. This morning, more than 1,000 people are still unaccounted for, so that number will likely keep rising. This morning, we're hearing from a Georgia couple who left the island just days before the disaster.
Maui's just now rebounding and getting some of the restaurants back from the COVID-19. That COVID-19 situation put a bunch of them out of business. There are not as many now, and they would all tell me we're just now starting to get back on our feet. Then bam, look at this. It's scary.
You know, much of the island dependent on tourism is now decimated. Raleigh Williams and his wife says they'll go back and see how they can help the community get back on its feet.
It's a three-peat tonight. Thousands more will be at the Benz for Queen Bee's final Renaissance show in Atlanta. People had an amazing time at Friday and Saturday shows at the Benz. And this morning, we're still trying to learn how many of you have attended the show so far. This is some brand new video from MARTA, though, showing hundreds of people getting off the train. You can see some of those Renaissance-themed outfits created just to see the Queen. It is safe to say Atlanta has a special place in Queen Bee's heart. She has gone from city to city, and the different crowds have taken part in the Mute Challenge. Now, it can be hard getting everyone in an entire stadium on the same page. We're talking thousands of people, but the audience on Friday night, they understood the assignment. Check it out. The queen said it herself. Y'all won, y'all won, y'all won, ATL. We're going to keep an eye out to see if tonight's crowd can actually beat that, Chesley.
They probably can. They probably will. They probably will. Take a look, folks. By noon today, temperatures will be in the 90s. I'm thinking right around 93 degrees. We'll have partly sunny skies out there as some cumulus clouds will begin to develop. There could be an isolated shower or two. There's a 30% chance for that. But look at the temperature. 96 degrees will be our afternoon high. And when you factor in the humidity with that, it's going to feel like the triple digits out there. So it's going to be a hot one out there. 90 degrees by 6 o'clock with those scattered thunderstorms around the area. Again, not everyone gets wet. It's only a 30% chance. Crash?
Trouble on that downtown drive, connector northbound before 10th Street. That wreck still blocking up 2 left lanes. I-20 westbound before the connector. Still clearing trouble out on the east side. I'll have an update for you at 7:26.
All right, Crash, we'll see you then. And we thank you for being with us today.
I keep thinking y'all won, y'all won, y'all won.
That's it, ATL. Everybody on mute.
Have a great day.
All right.